You're like, hey, I'm wearing a big.
Well, I went back in time and I got my hair. Steelers Nation Australia headband. We'll get you some like high socks. We'll get you some like these shorts.
Hey,
shorts.
you're standing up. Easy.
Yeah.
It's like balls of fury.
So when JJ52 says, will Ray Gun make the 53? No, she's cut.
If you're not going to take Ray Gun, I know a place in Western Pennsylvania where she'll fit right in. Right at the cookie table at a wedding.
She could be my second string long
Call her
snap.
Dr. Bookie or the Dr. Get Down and tell her she has a PhD in Get Down. Like, play the music, you know.
You know what? If she'd had some bling, and looked like LL Cool J and I'm gonna knock you out, she might have won.
Alrighty, Steeler Nation, welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. And also, welcome to the Steelers Dynasty podcast. Bubba, Shane, what is happening?
It's Tuesday.
Nothing. Nothing's going on.
Seriously, I can't believe I'm caught into this freaking. It's like the meth of sports news. I read an article that said Aaron Rodgers is going to sign
I know, we're back.
in training camp.
I know, I've heard one about his biographer or something that writes books for him or something. We're back. Just honest to goodness, let it just sign today so we can move on.
But also too, guys, if he does sign, he'd be the only starting quarterback not to do OTAs in the whole NFL and all the teams.
Yeah, because he runs away from his team. He goes to Egypt. We know this. I'm just at the point. I'm really at the point of like, just fucking sign. Like, just sign already so we can move on. You know, and he knows that. What's his fucking hold up?
I want us to get us. I want us to look for some kind of other people that we need to fit in besides putting all our marbles in with Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Like, get some depth.
I'm gonna do the biggest rant. I'll hate this player forever. If he doesn't sign, I'm gonna hate Rodgers forever.
I don't like him now. Now. So until
if he doesn't sign, this is like Ayuk times 3.
I just think if he comes on, it's just going to be there's going to be so much ammunition for our show just to freaking reload week to week and just boom, boom, boom.
No, it'd be like it's like infinity endless or whatever you call that. You said times 3. It's like endless infinity.
Crazy.
Okay, but let's break it down a little bit. So the Steelers know they want him.
Happy Tuesday to you, Daniel, Gene, Daredevil.
The Steelers know they want him, and Rodgers knows. Why not just cross over and fucking sign?
I think it's just Tomlin.
What's the hold up?
I think Tomlin just wants him. I don't think anybody else does.
It could be Tomlin.
Yeah, Tomlin wants them. It's just.
But just sign already. Just hurry up.
Do you really think? Okay, there was news. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I'm gonna bring it up. I saw they picked the Steelers to go 0-6.
Oh, I've been talking. Yeah,
that's Rudolph is starting.
That's this bloke.
That guy, that Dan guy was a third string and whatever. He's a good thing. Is what he got married to a female. Okay, there's no way the Steelers. There's no way. There is no way.
Yeah, I've been talking about him all week. He's the one bloke that ran out of the end zone. He went 2-11 as a starter. Dan Orlovsky has zero opinion on what's happening.
Mason Rudolph's a better quarterback than he is.
Yeah, 100%. So that was the narrative this week. Was we're stuck with Mason Rudolph. There was other narratives too saying that Mason Rudolph is the worst starting quarterback in the league, 32 from PFF or PFF, what do you call it? A lot of things like that at the moment. There was other things in the news too that the Steelers rookies went to their rookie camp, which was pretty cool. You saw Will Howard. I saw his interview. You saw Caleb Johnson. That's exciting stuff for us, for our team. But the big media, we can break down little things. We might do that. We might just go around the room. We might just go around each position and break it down.
Yeah.
But the big media is always focusing on we haven't got a quarterback and we need this guy. And without the quarterback, we're 6-10, which won't happen to Mike Tomlin. Though he'll get them ready to play. So, what about you, Bubba? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Well, my neck of the woods is kind of cloudy right now, but I was told again today by one of my coworkers, 14-3. I was like, you know what? I'll take that. But I said, I'm not going to say that because it's people come and expect that from me. But I think we're better than we are on paper, I believe. And we haven't even done anything yet. So we don't even know what we have, where people are going yet, except for the people that we know we already have, like TJ, Minka, Cam, and Boswell. We know those four are solidified and getting us to where we need to be. Everybody, Freiermuth, put Freiermuth in there. We know a little bit, but everybody else can go from here to here. And,
year two jumps with Beanie Bishop and Frazier and Wilson, guys like that, right? And getting DK Metcalf from the squad, which has been, by the way, overlooked because we're so consumed about the quarterback position, we forgot about DK Metcalf. I've been hearing stuff like I'm happy with if they win this year, they play hard. Chance for the division, 11 wins. I'm saying the ceiling could be 11 wins, or hopefully the bottom could be 10. But yeah, there's definitely some things out there, man.
Well, Mason's actually studying and actually more prepared probably in any other time now than he ever was in his prior existence, even before maybe Tennessee. I think he's.
You guys see his interview with Mac and Kaboli on their show, on the YouTube show? Shane, did you see that one, Mac and Kaboli? It's Mark Kaboli and Mac. They have a YouTube channel. He had a podcast there, right? One big thing I got out of it, and it was a couple of years ago that Mason Rudolph talked about the QB1 position. He said it was based on the financials, and that was a year that Mitchell Trubisky had a bigger contract than Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph, and that was the order of the depth chart. Now, Mason Rudolph has the better contract. He's just waiting to find out if they're going to sign Rodgers or not. So it was a pretty. Look, I just hope he gets a fucking chance. I would love to see him bounce back, like you said, Bubba, Rudolph Redemption Tour, and shock the NFL and have a go. Just have a dig and just see what happens, because they're all trying to clown him and bash him out. I've got some of the audio from that. Oh, do I still have the video? Did I show you guys this video or not?
No, hit it up.
All right, let's play this, the 0-6 video. This is where they're talking about Mason Rudolph.
Those first 4 games before they get to the bye, every one of those teams has a quarterback situation that you would take over Pittsburgh's. Every single one.
I mean, I think you could say that about.
Well, that's my point. See, that's what, to me, throws everything up in the air for this football team.
That's a fair.
I don't care. We can assess the schedule and slice it 1,000 different ways. Every single team's quarterback situation right now, on that right there,
Louis,
would you take Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Wait a second. Look at that start of the schedule for the Steelers and imagine that Mason Rudolph is the quarterback.
Yeah, and
you feel like with what he's got around him, they would still do well there?
No. I
Okay.
think you're staring at 0-6.
I mean, like, honestly, think about the Jets.
Love you, Mason.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Aaron Glenn will blitz him into oblivion. The Seahawks, Mike McDonald, that's a pretty good defensive coordinator, all right? And with the Patriots, Mike Vrabel with that new defensive line up there in New England. The Vikings with Brian Flores. With man, come on.
And this is an offense.
Like that right there.
It's an offense that's only DK Metcalf right now in the perimeter.
I also said this on NFL Live yesterday. I was fascinated to see how many primetime games they would give the Steelers without knowing who the quarterback is. And they don't have 8 primetime games. They don't have 10 primetime games. It doesn't feel like the NFL is saying, oh, this is a Super Bowl contender and Aaron Rodgers is that guy. It seems like this is a middle-of-the-road team based on the schedule they got.
All I gotta say, I gotta say a few things. Ready? Puff, pass. That's what they need to do. Puff, pass. Because them jokers are smoking. Puff, pass.
What? How can they fucking
They
predict
just sit
0-6?
they just sit there and they're just looking for clickbait, and they're just looking for views. They're just looking to be controversial in all these NFL sports talk shows. Like, there's no way, like, Cleveland doesn't even have a better quarterback room than we do. Like, that's just ungodly. Okay. And Seattle just signed Sam Darnold, who only had that one great year. Minnesota doesn't even know who their quarterback is right now. And they didn't even say any of that. And those guys are making way more money than I am. I'm in my friggin' house talking Steelers football with you guys, and they're sitting in a studio just talking a bunch of bullshit, because that's all it is, bullshit.
Yeah, well, when's the last time that Mike Tomlin went 0-6? He almost went 0-4 one year, right? And then he turned it around. But when's he going to go? And then he came back to be even season.
He went to the Super Bowl that year when he was 0-4, wasn't he?
I can't remember.
No, that would have been no.
What year was that? That was the year I didn't get to watch only one game. That was 0-4. What was the record? Oh, they went from 15-1. Then the next year, they started off with like a losing record, and they turned it around.
Well, he's turned it around every year. He's turned it around to be even, or to just be in front, or to have the chance to win, to go to the playoffs. And I talked about yesterday, like, that's I know people don't like it when we say like non-losing season, but in the grand scheme of things, 18 seasons, always give a chance for the dance. That's pretty good, you know. And yeah, Jed's, yeah, man, he's so sarcastic.
At 15-1, Shane, that was Cowher, and then a year later they beat Seattle.
No. What was the year? Like 05, when they won February of 05, the Super Bowl 43 against the one bus. What year was that? Bus's last year. What was it? I've got to look at the record.
That was still Cowher.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all over the shop. So I got here from here's from PWF, right? So is that what was it? PF? What do you call that? Pro Football Focus, whatever it is. They've ranked Mason Rudolph the 31st. Now, I'm not saying he's the best quarterback, but I don't know if he would be 31. He might be around maybe 20, 25. But they've ranked him 31, saying after spending 6 years with Pittsburgh, Mason Rudolph was with Tennessee before returning to a 2-year deal. 850 career dropbacks and only big time throws. He says Rudolph is firmly established as a career backup. Given the Steelers have Will Howard in the 6th, it will likely see the rookie show the field before the season's over. They say nothing about him. They don't say any good things about Rudolph, how he can as a powerful arm, how he won those 3 games in December, how he's coming back to his team. And I don't know. I just think that I would love to see, I know people don't like Rudolph, but I'd love to see him have a chance and actually win.
Well, wait a second, guys. I want to ask you something. Are we actually getting to the point as Steelers fans that we're a little bit delusional?
Always.
Because I think I'm starting to kind of like get sucked in the vortex. Usually I'm the realist, but I'm getting sucked into Bubba's world, where it's like, yeah,
don't do that.
Going to make a playoff run. You know, I hear the talking heads on ESPN and YouTube and everybody that's supposed to know football is saying how bad the Steelers are, but I just don't see it. I don't see it, guys.
All right,
but also before let me. Mason Rudolph this year is under a different offensive coordinator because he's never played under Arthur Smith. It was always Matt Canada or somebody, not Randy Finkner. So 2 offensive coordinators that actually sucked. Arthur Smith is a couple of steps higher, so he might be able to fit into that position a lot better. They're not even talking about that.
And a better line as well, and also better receivers too, better tight end group as well. So much better team. But I just had an idea there. Why don't we go through some of the positions and we'll rank them, see if off-season was a success. And we'll start with the quarterback. And this is a tough one, right? Because Justin Fields and Wilson are now with different teams. But Bubba, do you think our quarterback room at the moment was a success, or still things need to be learned?
I think it's not as good as what we had last year, even though when we had Wilson and Fields. So I think our quarterback room, because we're going on a rookie that we don't know yet with Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson was just a third string quarterback and fourth string quarterback in my eyes. And Mason has been a backup, except for a couple starts. So I think the quarterback department this year is a little weaker than last year.
Yeah, would you agree with that, Shane?
100%. I mean, Russell Fields or Wilson, sorry. Wilson,
Well, maybe we'll draft him. We're good. We'll get to a boat.
It's like when you take a couple and make their names, put them together. You know what I'm saying? Guys, you went from a Super Bowl winning quarterback, even though he won a Super Bowl ages ago, okay, to trading up for a rookie that has won a national championship in college. That's apples and oranges. You don't know what you have with Will Howard. You kind of know what you have with Mason Rudolph, but it's definitely a step down from Fields. I think they go from a C- to a D.
But that's also why the Steelers brought him in, because they know what they have with him, right? That's not a bad thing. So they bring him back to be the backup, or possibly be the QB1, depending if the thing doesn't work out with said quarterback. I actually think they are weaker at quarterback as well. I thought that Justin Fields had potential. I thought Russell Wilson was good until he wasn't, kind of thing, where it all fell apart and we know how. But I was very excited last year with those two quarterbacks, and I didn't think they were going to be there. But yeah, I think we are weaker. But at the same time, something tells me this year that it's more of a team build than it is like focus on one player. So I think we're weaker. Let's go running back. Bubba, what about running back position? You've been talking about Najee Harris a bit, but now we have Caleb Johnson. We have the other guy, Trey Sermon.
Bubba,
Colt, we have Warren.
I have a quarterback question for you before we move on to running back. Okay, Bubba.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph with the goatee, and this is for Daredevil. Does Mason Rudolph gain length or girth with the goatee? Can only pick one. Okay.
Well, you know what? And to say that answer, I believe Mason Rudolph with the goatee will throw more balls in the middle.
So you're
That's
saying
what
girth.
I mean.
Okay.
I'm saying girth.
You know, he's been in the league now 7 years. I think this would be his 7th year. And they're still counting him out. That's why I hope he comes back. I hope he wins everything.
So Mark's saying length. So there you go.
Yeah, send it deep. 50 yards, 60 yards deep.
With the goatee.
He has a strong arm. We see under the Arthur Smith offense. I mean, that offense is to the tight ends. And Z, I think he has something to prove. And you have a redemption story here that could take over the NFL instead of Dan and the studio junkies picking 0-6. If they go 4-2 in the first 6 games, you know what I mean? That's still he's already proved them all wrong.
Well, Justin Fields went 4-2, and Steeler Nation was getting around him until they changed back to Wilson. But then Wilson came in and rocked it as well. So thank you, Z, for the $9.99. That goes to my Irish fund. I'm still trying to figure out how to get over there, and I'll be buying a few pints of that. Let's go to running back, and thank you, Z, mate. Let's go to running back. Bubba, you said that you weren't a fan of Najee moving, but how do you feel now? Is it an upgrade? Is it worse? What's happening?
I think it's still status quo until I see that rookie get behind a Steelers offensive line. So I would say it's and Jaylen Warren is added in, so I'll go a C+ until Johnson. We see Johnson behind taking some balls and running with them. I don't know until he's in a Steeler uniform playing for Steelers that I could give him a higher grade. I
like how you guys are giving him like grades, but like all you got to do is compare him to last year. You have to be like, as long as you're better than your competition. You know when they say if someone's a gun or something like that, you just got to be faster than the other guy. Yeah. So if there's a fight, to be faster than the other guy. You don't have to give grades, but you can. But I think in this one, I'm looking forward to see Warren have the number one role, but I think we will miss Najee a bit unless we don't know. Like Bubba said, we don't know what to expect from Caleb Johnson as a rookie and how much load can he carry. But I'm excited for the running back class because Warren's going to be awesome, along with Kenny G and Gainwell. He might get reps too. So this could be more into Arthur Smith like system, what we want to see from the running backs. And I think Najee was a fun Steeler. He hasn't really burnt the bridge like George Pickens did, but I don't think he was going to ever come back to be a Steeler. Shane, what about yours with the running backs? Is this an upgrade this year?
I think it's pretty even. I mean, Caleb Johnson is gonna. I mean, there's Najee was very serviceable. He was a great running back, but Caleb Johnson's pretty versatile. And if you squint, when you look at his college stats and his college videos, like the clips, Iowa's uniforms, it's almost like he's already a Steeler. Just like, oh, that's the Steelers. No, Caleb Johnson's a good running back, and along with Warren, I think you're going to have it's going to be you're not going to see much of a drop off.
They said they compare him with Derrick Henry.
Yep, I would say.
I heard today.
Who said that?
Well, take a guess. He was on the Mark Madden show, and he was a Steelers beat writer or beat guy, and he said
Andrew Filippono way.
No, it wasn't him, but it was one of these other guys that probably have a bigger.
What do you call them?
Steeler.
What do you call them? Jamokis?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that means. Yeah, that's what I don't know. I just come up with names sometimes, but the guy compared him on Madden show to Derrick Henry. So you know what? I think that's a plus, and I would take that.
I'm just excited to see fresh legs at the position. I think Warren, seeing his off-season video highlights so far, he looks like he's checked in. His interviews with Cameron Hayward, his role is now. He said to Cameron Hayward, "I'm going to be the Najee type, so I'm the Najee leader now." And then you have Johnson and the other fellas behind him. I think at the running back position, they probably will cut Cordarrelle Patterson as well because they signed Trey Sermon. And you never know, another running back might come up out of somewhere else because he was too slow. I think they're not going to. He's on the roster, maybe just collecting checks and going to have some free meals before he gets cut. But I think just too old.
We signed Nick Chubbs.
Yeah. If that, I'm still okay with that because for some reason I was watching a Browns game yesterday, and I think with the Nick Chubb situation, they forced him back into the running back role too soon, way too soon after injury.
Every time I eat chicken wings and I break that chicken leg bone, I think of Nick Chubb. Hey, Felicia Ballard it just became a member about 10 minutes ago.
Thank you, Felicia. Nah, she's awesome. Where is she? She is awesome. She's now part of HDU.
We'll see how the running style of Johnson, how he hits the hole. If he hits the hole with force and tenacity, and it just runs like hard. That's different.
Felicia's been around for a long time. She's been around since the days that I was with Behind the Steel Curtain, like 4 or 5 years. So I thank her for listening to us. What do we call this? Jamokis, Bubba? Us Jamokis.
That sounds like a Christmas cookie.
Yeah.
Hey, you bringing them Jamoki cookies over?
Little sprinkle of cinnamon.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think the running back position it's not as worse as last year. It could be better because Najee Harris was fun to watch. Let's be honest. Like there were some times where he got 2 yards, 3 yards, but there are other times he ran through the pack, knocking everyone over and taking 4 or 5 blokes with him to the ground. So I'm excited to see fresh legs at that position. Let's move into receiver. So off-season success for receiver. Shane, we lost a receiver in George Pickens, but we gained DK Metcalf. How's the room looking this year compared to last year?
Let's just look at DK versus Pickens, okay? Both A. But you go with an A plus with DK to like an A with Pickens. You have Pickens, but with the athleticism, DK has more, is bigger, stronger. Did you see him in that video jump up with one hand? It's like he had a propeller up his ass. He just
I taught him that. I was doing that in my backyard for years, Shane, and he comes driving by and he's like, "Hey, I want to learn how to do that." And I'm like, "Hey, I'll teach you."
My mind has been in the gutter since you said hitting the hole with tenacity. I mean, I'm just like, when you're hitting the hole and you're, I'm like, what? Oh, that's hitting the hole.
Oh my god! You guys ever see the one where he chased down the interception?
Yep.
Like that's the kind of, I think that's what if he's still athletic, I think he will be athletic like that. That's the kind of spirit he wants.
Like a cheetah. He was like a cheetah, or no, which is faster, jaguar or a cheetah?
I think cheetah. I think cheetah's faster.
Cheetah?
Yeah.
Okay, because he took him down from behind like it was prey when he got that ball. When he went after that guy who got the interception.
And now it's like what Shane was saying too. There's no competition. It's like it's DK's team now. DK's number one. There's no sharing the football. It's like, okay, he's their number one receiver. He's a vet. Like there's no one sniffing around like George Pickens, and like he went out on a bad way as well. But I think it's better than last year because he's a better receiver than George Pickens. He's a true number one. Then you've got the idea of like we haven't seen Roman Wilson yet, a bit like we haven't seen some of these rookies. And you've got Calvin Austin. He's a really good receiver / punt returner. Ben Skowronek is the receivers and the gunner. And you've got Robert Woods, who's the vet. We don't know how he's going to play, but I think it's better than last year, only by a smidgen. But DK is a big reason why it's better.
You're forgetting one guy, and I'm gonna say this is my. I said before we're only on for about 30 seconds before we went live. This is the one thing I'm going to throw out that's just odd. I'm thinking Calvin Austin. You need to sign him because I think he's going to have a big year, and you're going to save a lot of money.
You sent me that the other day, and I personally, I think he's just going to be status quo.
I don't know if he has a big. Just sign him. You know, you're going to sign him. It won't cost you a whole hell of a lot. But if he has a big year, man, I think he's going to have a nice year, especially with DK there.
When does his contract run out?
I think next year. For 2 years.
Yeah, so last year, yeah. So last year his contract. So last year he got 548 yards.
You sign him now, get him for peanuts.
They're not
because if he blows up,
he's gonna want big money.
They gotta pay another guy.
But he's not he'll never be the number one receiver because he's more of a smaller guy, right?
You're not gonna pay him as number one. You're gonna pay him as a 2 or maybe the third guy, but just give him a nice little bump. But not a huge increase. You know, I don't know. He's making maybe the league minimum, maybe $1.5 million, something like that. But I'm saying,
well, you know what? You could give him a little bit of stuff based on performance. Say he gets 6 touchdowns, and if you got 6 touchdowns, you pay him this.
You get 2 boxes of Mrs. T's pierogies for every touchdown.
They're going to use him more, though, I think, in the run game, too, like jet sweeps, like those kind of things. And last year, so Calvin Austin had he had targets 58 and 36 catches, 15.2 yards average, and 4 TDs. So he'll look for a bigger role this year too, for sure.
Yes, he has to be. But I believe the receiving department with the missing of George Pickens, if Pickens was still here, I would give it an A. Without Pickens, because you have 2 performers, I give it basically a C-. Metcalf's an A, but a C- because now once again we are in the same boat as we were last year because we don't have a number 2.
Is the exact same as last year, or not a smidge higher?
He's Metcalf's a smidge higher because he's a real number 1 receiver where George Pickens was not. He was like a 1A. Metcalf is a legit number 1, but we don't have any other number 2, and that is a problem because if like last year when Pickens did get hurt, we didn't have anybody. And that's not good. And we need a number 2, and they need to make a trade or they need to sign somebody. I'd say make a trade because they got some per capita to trade and trade a receiver who's young. And that could be a good number 2 for Metcalf. And I just seen before we went on that the Pierce kid from Indianapolis would be a good, they speculated that could be a trade if the Steelers go that way because he's 25 years old and he gets like 17 yards a catch and would make a good number 2. And that's what we need, a good number 2. We don't need a Pickens. We just need a good number 2 that could still get some balls. But without having George and Metcalf, if we'd have had those guys this year, like that, it was an A+. No matter, even though if George had the attitude, to me that would have been an A+, and we wouldn't have had 2 receivers like that since it's been a couple years.
But Wilson's a really good receiver. At least he was in college.
But he's in college. I mean, what have you done for me lately?
He could have a great year. We'll see.
Yeah, he's one we have to wait and see, and I think Steel fans are. Even Omar Khan said he was looking into it. Wasn't going to. Omar Khan said, I think in one of the interviews, he wasn't going to do the same thing as last year with a receiver and wait till like the trade deadline, right? So I think overall it's going to be an exciting, group for that position. Now with the O-line, fellas, we won't go through each position; it'll take too long. But the O-line, is it better than last year? Very, very similar to last year.
Yeah, same.
A smidge, another.
I think it might be the exact same.
Well, they lost a couple like Daniels. They lost, some veteran. They lost, Herbig's brother. So the depth of the Steelers' offensive line is not where it needs to be. And this is my opinion. I would say it's probably the depth is a C minus, and they can't have a major injury or we're going to be screwed.
So they got most of the same players from last year. It is now looking like that Jones will be left tackle, Ciamalo's left guard, Frazier center, McCormick right guard, Troy Faitanu out of injury, and then behind that you got Dylan Cook looks like to make the team. The Andersons, they kind of filled in last year too near the end of the stretch. Ryan McCollum, he's played I think center before. He's going to back up. So guys like that are depth, but they're just blokes. But still, you might see him because last year with the 9 guys. You'll see these guys rotate in because they'll get hurt. So I think this should be a better group just based on the same players who played, but maybe when they move Jones over and Faitanu comes back.
The plays of our tackles will determine how we play. If the tackle play is a B plus and higher, that is a huge upgrade.
But also they're the same players, but another year on, like they're another year in the business, which always means for most things you get better all the time, right?
Troy only had one start. So
What about you? What about you, Shane? You think the O line's gonna be better this year?
Oh yeah, I think they're going to improve. I mean, you have guys that are actually going to be playing their natural position that they played years prior. I mean, Frazier, McCormick, those guys are getting another year. They're not rookies anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be more serviceable. The question, like you said, it remains, and this is throughout the NFL. Do you have depth at those key positions on the line? And it's a lot easier getting a cornerback than it is getting a guy that's 6'3", 300 pounds that can move well. I mean, it's tough finding those guys. So, I think they're about the same. Maybe a smidge better with that experience.
It's the same with Troy Faitanu, the round 1 pick. We just haven't seen him. So that's also very interesting from that point where everyone's counting the Orlovsky's counting these Steelers out, you loser, and based on a few things, but they haven't seen the receiver or the O line like that. So for our Steeler fans, we know what's going on. Now let's move into tight end. Tight ends is very, very similar. Very similar to tight end. Bubba, what about tight end position? Do they get the same? Is it an upgrade to last year? It's very similar.
I think it's the same. It's the same, but they had a year under Arthur Smith, and I'm going to give that probably the strongest grade that I'm giving so far, and I'm going to give that an A minus because I think that there's Freiermuth is still, with maybe as Mason Rudolph as quarterback, he hits the middle of the field, which we don't use, and they use Washington a lot more, and then that other guy they got. That big guy, I don't know if Connor.
He's 6'8".
I don't know
6'8".
I don't know if Connor's going to make the team. Maybe as a fullback, maybe I don't know, as a hybrid or something. But that right now, going into all these positions, that's the strongest position on the Steelers so far. I'm giving them an A minus.
What about you, Shane?
Yeah, you got to use the length and hit the middle of the field. Bubba hit all the high points. He knocked it out. That's it.
Well,
that bloke there, Donald Ponham Jr., he's 6'8", and Darnell Washington is 6'7". Can they just not line those two guys up next to each other, next to the left tackle?
That's the skyscrapers right there. Skyscrapers.
But they're huge blokes. Well, they'll probably use them in the running game, right? You can probably hide behind them, and then I don't know. That's going to be in Arthur Smith offense. This is where it's kind of interesting too, because he used a lot of tight ends. His main receivers were one. This makes a lot of sense now. One receiver was like the deep threat, like the big guy, right? And the other guy was like Jonas Smith and another tight end. He used like 2 tight ends a lot. So you might see that with Donald Ponham Jr. and Darnell Washington and now someone who can, Mason Rudolph can throw over the middle. So this is like heaps different to last year from that sense. If you go look at Tennessee Titans, when you had like Ryan Tannehill, his top 3 receivers were one receiver and with pass catchers and 2 were tight ends. So maybe he's trying to implement that and then also run behind the big fellas up front. I'm excited for it too. The tight ends and Darnell and that guy from the Chargers, man. I don't even know how you can be 6'8", but he's 6'8". That's insane. He's going to wreak havoc. Did I do the whole offense?
You did.
Everyone?
You did.
What okay, overall offense, what do we think? Upgrade from last year? I think yes.
The fact the quarterback makes it really tough to kind of like flatlines everything, you know?
It's a C for me, the whole offense C.
It's not an upgrade yet, Bubba. It's like
no. Based on what we have right now, until I see him in training camp, until they get some reps, on the field, in the preseason, and go from there. Right now, it's a C. It could go up to a B very quickly, and if they do sign a number 2 receiver, then my grade will go up a little better.
Right, yeah. Let's play some fireworks for Z in the chat. I gave it $10, $9.99. We'll play some fireworks, come back, and we're going to do the defense and go from D line to safety and just see if that's an upgrade from last year. And overall, was it a success? Be right back. Alrighty. So we are back.
I love the comments on the screen here now. It's just I read them twice. I can read them twice.
I love it. That's nice. Nice touch.
Yes, that was StreamYard doing that. It's like the beta. It looks kind of cool. Fits in well there. Okay, so let's start with D-line first. Overall, D-line, Shane, upgrade from last year, yes or no?
Huge upgrade. I mean, you drafted. You got some great draft picks. You know, you have great ends already, edge rushers. So, can't get any worse than having that just revolving glass door. It was like, come on through, Olay, all that jazz. Terrible defense. So anything's an upgrade.
And Bubba talked about a lot as well when we got run over by 299 yards of Derrick Henry.
Yep.
And that's something they wanted to fix. Is it upgrade from last year, Bubba?
On paper, yes. On the field, we have to wait and see. But also too, they got rid of Montavious Adams, which I'm happy for because I was not he was small, undersized interior defensive lineman for me. He was getting moved around way too much. So they got some stout individuals over 300 pounds that will be very, very hard to move. And this defensive line is a huge upgrade on paper. On paper, I give it a B plus, with Cam. But until I see him play live, that rating can go higher.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to as well. Some of the names here you've got, of course, Derek Harmon. He had some, the number 1 overall pick, but he's had some good interviews with Cam, and he seems very checked in. He said he wants to stop Derrick Henry, and that's why he was brought in as that position because the media went, "Oh, you need to go and get Sanders. Get Sanders." And it's like, no, the Steelers are going to fill up the D line and solve that position.
Thank God they didn't. I rather lost my shit.
Yeah, but we know. We know from the 4-hour watch, you're just like, nah. But they solved that position, and now that's fun for him to watch, and a very unique story with him. But then they got Y.A. Black as well. They got one guy I'm looking forward to in training camp. When you guys go down there, I can't say his name, but he was from the Patriots. Daniel Ukulele. Yeah, ukulele or something like that. He's interesting as well because he'll be in rotation. Loudermilk's still in rotation. Other blokes there was the what's his name? Logan Lee. So those dudes look better, I think, from last year, just by adding more pieces to the puzzle in terms of the draftee guys. And they still got Carl Dunbar. He comes back as a coach. It's an upgrade, definite upgrade. And they know they have to stop the run 100%. Let's move into the edge guys and outside linebackers, Bubba. TJ Watt, Highsmith, and the other fellas there, upgrade over last year?
With those 4, you got Jack, you got Herbig, and you got the two best outside linebackers in the NFL. Where could you go but keep going to the atmosphere of space? You know what I mean? It's you're doing fireworks right there. That's going to be huge. So that's we're good with that.
Tail 2 seasons last. We had, the first half of the season, Watt was lights out, no pun intended. Then you had, for crying out loud, he just disappeared. I think if those guys can stay healthy, A++. Last year, maybe an A-B.
I think there's a reason why they brought in Jack Sawyer, Captain Jack, because he's now going to maybe give TJ Watt a spell. I think Nick Herbig gives Highsmith a bit of a spell in different rotational packages. Herbig's really good on those third downs where you're playing sparingly. And next minute he's around the corner. He's a very vicious bloke. I think they're going to give TJ Watt a bit more of a spell where he can play like 75% reps and get him ready for the end of the year and not just go out too crazy. But I think it's overall upgraded as well from last year. What about middle linebackers? And actually the whole linebacking core is pretty interesting. Middle linebackers now, Patrick Queen, looks like they're going to have Holcomb back probably, or going to camp at least. Then they have Peyton Wilson too, second year, Bubba.
Losing Roberts hurts.
Yeah, that's a big loss, actually.
Yeah,
that is.
So I would say right now on paper, it's a downgrade.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I would agree with Bubba, except for they totally shit the bed against Baltimore. We say this every show. We say this 4 or 5 times. If you don't know, the Steelers, like, they look like they were like paper napkin underwear after Taco Bell. Like shit everywhere. So,
what a description that is! Oh my
I'm
goodness.
sorry, I painted a picture for you.
That's bad. That's so bad.
Linebacker core. There's no reason that that they should have 300 yards of rushing against them. So yes, I think it has to get better, and it can't get any worse, because that first middle of the season would have been a C, maybe C+, but those last 4 games was just failure.
Terrible.
So let's reset and see exactly what happens, but it can't get any worse.
I'm excited to see how Peyton Wilson goes in as a middle linebacker. He's been through in articles that they're saying that he's going to be 1 and 2 with Queen, and also where does Cole Holcomb fit coming back from the injury, because he had a pretty bad injury too. So that's also intriguing to me, is what happens, who's playing next to Queen. If it is Wilson, well, he was a 3rd or 4th round pick, and he's getting obviously the second year, that second year jump too. And I saw his his podcast with Beanie Bishop, and they're like checked in and they're ready to go. So training camp's going to tell us a lot, and you guys are going to go there and run around and see some of these players. But training camp with highlights will tell us.
Well, I'm going, but I'm not running around. I'm going. There's no running. There's no running. There's no running in my MO anymore. I'm good. I'll walk, little slow, drag, but I'm no running.
But yeah, I feel like the middle linebacker does feel a bit like me. Bad taste in your mouth. It's like even to me. It's no true standout thing. I think Queen can do better in his second year too as a Steeler. But we'll have to wait and see.
Queen has to step it up more this year than coming in last year. He has to, because now he's got a year under his belt. When he's out watering the garden now, or watering his watering the grass, he's got to be able to do whatever he needs.
I got rid of that.
Because him talking out his ass doesn't help when he can't make tackles.
No, they got to play it. I'm intrigued to see how Holcomb comes back to the mix as well, because the other bloke there is Wilson. All right, let's go to the cornerbacks. We'll go cornerbacks on the outside. There they got the addition of Darius Slay. They got Joey Porter into his 3rd year now, which is crazy to say. 3rd year Joey Porter. They're bringing back, I think, as well, Corey Trice is still on the roster. James Pierre is like the special team guy. They brought in the other guy from the Jets, Brennan Eccles. He wore number 26 of the Jets as well. What about and Beanie Bishop too, as the undrafted slot guy. What about this, Shano? The cornerbacks look like they're getting better at secondary.
Play really makes me feel a little bit better, but my God, they were hit or miss, hot or cold. I mean, and that's typical for cornerbacks. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you're going to miss a few plays, but Beanie Bishop was a big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Price, let's see what happens with him. I mean, he was a guy that wasn't he drafted the same time as Bishop, the kid from Texas, the tall kid?
Yeah, round 7, I think it was round 7.
If he can fill in maybe at that safety spot, but Mika Fitzpatrick needs some help on the bookends, man. Let's see if he can get some help. what but there were some great plays and surprises last year that we didn't expect, and they definitely needed some help from last year to this past year. So I don't know.
It's a good plays if Dante Jackson had a few picks and stuff like that. There were some good plays, but obviously there was other guys getting burnt too. But the secondary has definitely got better over the years since the addition of Joey Porter. Since a few years, during the 7 years ago when we had Antoine Blake and those kind of guys, it was just
oh my god, that's terrible.
And Ross Cockrell and those kind of dudes, it was just like awful, right? Woo. So they're now building their identity. But I think a lot of pressure a lot of pressure is on Trice because we keep talking about him to be that guy, and Mike Tillman likes the avatar cornerbacks. I think there's a reason why they brought in Darius Slay, was just to short up the ship and say be a veteran presence. Bubba, what about you in the cornerback room?
Well, I'm going to say it's probably status quo, maybe a little bit of an upgrade, but it all depends on how Joey plays on the field and doesn't cost us majorly in his holding for big yardage.
A lot of flags, A lot of flags for the bloke.
Yeah, he's got to clean up his act. And maybe that's why they brought in, Darius to come in and teach him a little bit, like give him a little bit of veteran leadership. And that's what we need. And Beanie Bishop, was such a huge surprise. And I know we all loved him, 5 INTs.
Four picks, I think, Beanie Bishop in undrafted rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing, and he got 2 against Rodgers. So they'll have something to talk about because Beanie Bishop in the locker room, like, hey, motherfucker, right. I got you twice. When that happens, and then he'll want to go into seclusion down to bet or something. But anyway, I think it's okay. I think Fitzpatrick is still the ball hawk he needs to be, but he's still getting up there, and he got to get us with Cam and TJ Watt in this defensive trifecta to get into a playoff victory. That's what I don't care how they do it. I don't care. They just, if Fitzpatrick's got to get 10 interceptions and get us there, so be it.
The bloke we lost was Dante Jackson, and in the stats he got 5 interceptions, 8 pass deflections, and I think he did his role well enough. But there was, like Shane said, you're going to get burnt here and there. But I think that it does come down to Slay coming in to be that veteran presence like Dante Jackson. But yeah, another step up from Joey Porter. Let's move into the safeties, because this is a big one where Minka on the stat sheet doesn't get too many things, but if a football fan and the NFL guys, they vote him for, all pro player, but he's not around the ball. What about safety, Shane? Is it an upgrade from last year?
Last year, it seemed like Mika from the year before, a little bit of a drop off. I don't know why. I mean, he still did a great job, but I'm concerned that the age is catching up with him. Is this the year where he takes the shit? I don't know. I hope not.
Yeah, it's funny how the very first year when he came to the Steelers in 29, I guess 29, when was it, 2020, something like that?
Yeah.
Well, it's been a long time then, hasn't it? Really, that he was going crazy, and now they just don't throw his direction. I've seen fans say they want to get rid of him, trade him away, but when you go to other NFL players, they're saying how much an all-pro he is, and he's one of the guys that the reason why they don't throw to him. But it would be nice to see him move around and pick off players, right? Bubba, what are your thoughts about safety?
They stay away from him because they know better, and that's good too. That's just the fear of him being out there in the field. I think it's about the same as last year. And we shall have to see, maybe this Kent kid coming in might make the team. I don't know. But we shall see. Our pass coveraging on the outside and, in the safety position has to be, I don't think there was too many big plays last year that we got smoked on. I don't think. In the secondary too much, not like a big, huge touchdowns getting played.
They didn't allow, Minka and the boys don't allow them to go behind them. Nothing like that. They didn't allow the two. Yeah, they play that. They play it really well where there's no. Deep passes.
and that's Sanford got a thing. That dude that guy
from the Browns.
Cleveland, yes. That could
he's
be,
taken over the Kaze's role. Kaze is now with someone else, and he's not Kaze's role. And he's also very interesting too, because he played pretty good with the Chiefs and the Browns, and now he's like the rotation in those three. So, and you know what,
that
Deshaun
might be an
Elliott's
upgrade just with him, with Minka. That could be an upgrade, maybe.
I think it's an upgrade because Deshaun Elliott's back for his it's his second season with the Steelers, and he played friggin' lights out last year. He was rocking people, hitting people hard, and he was a fantastic, a sidecar to Minka. So I think the secondary is getting better than it was years and years after. But the whole defense, we always talk about it, fellas. Top 5, top 10, highest paid in the league, yada yada, and then they just go in the stretch and lose games. So on paper, it looks fantastic. We do all the talk we can. Then next minute they're getting run over by 300 yards. But
yeah, it's like
I think they've
buying a car, and then when you get behind the wheel, it doesn't run for shit.
Yeah, definitely. But I think overall it's gotten better with the additions on D-line. Do you guys think it's a better defense from last year?
On paper, yes. Mm-hmm. But we'll see how they do the run stop. If they can't stop the run, then we're fucked.
Season's over.
Well, no, but we're you know what I mean? We won't be able to stop anything, and it'll be a shootout every game.
What are you fellas looking forward to the most? Like, what's a player you're looking forward to? I think Shane was talking about last year with the West Virginia fellas, Zach Frazier and Beanie Bishop. What's a player, Bubba, you're looking forward to the most to see him play?
Oh, a quarterback. I mean, whoever's our quarterback, I want to see.
Out of all the players, you're going to say
yes, because that's going to be the player. That position right there is going to dictate where we're going to go, no matter who. If it's Mr. I don't care what anybody says about me smoking dope out in the woods guy, or is it Mr. John Wick, the goatee guy? It doesn't matter. That is the key position. Yeah, right there.
This guy versus
this guy. And it seems like Mason is dialed in. So that is the big thing. It's all the quarterback position. That's the main, that is the biggest position on any football team is your quarterback. And this drama of the Steelers doing this stuff is just not like, the last couple of years is not like Steelers off-season stuff about actually waiting around for people and this and that. I mean, they should not have waited around for Aaron Rodgers. They should have just did what they needed to do and then go with Mason and wait till and they get Will Howard. And people are speculating that Will Howard might be starting my mid-season or towards the end of the season. You don't know. He's definitely going to beat Skylar Thompson. That's for sure. I can actually say that. But
what about you, Shane? Any player that stands out that you're wanting to watch out of offense, defense?
Howard is would be nice to see him mature and develop and be the guy. But I really think Caleb Johnson probably would be the guy. I'm interested to see that he seems to have that. You know how Bell would kind of hesitate, wait for something to develop.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of that. So, let's see what happens. Him and Warren, I want to see them being able to run the ball. And then I want to see, I don't care if it's who's throwing the ball back there. I want to see the middle of the field. I want to see some of those 6'8" guys make some snags.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, out of the AFC North, besides the Ravens with Derrick Henry, the Pittsburgh Steelers with our running backs that we have is right below Derrick Henry in the AFC North. I think that's great.
Well, the Browns have two new running backs from the rookies. I don't know who they are, but
but as of right now, the Steelers running attack in the AFC North to me is right below Derrick. I mean, it's Derrick Henry. I mean, I'm not gonna say the Steelers running game is better than Derrick Henry. I mean, I know I hit my head numerous times, but I mean, he had a great year last year and he ran over us. And
they've got Lamar Jackson too, because their running game
their running game is number one in our division, and I think us as the Steelers are number two.
Definitely not the Bengals. The Bengals got rid of Joe Mixon. That was a huge mistake.
Yep.
And speaking of the Bengals too, the Bengals can't do contracts at the moment. They're fucking up the Trey Hendricks one.
Nope.
How do you not sign a guy that got 17 sacks last year to your team? I don't understand.
Because you don't have any money and you can't sign him. That's why.
But they're crazy. You should find a way to put him on your team. They're going to lose. The Bengals are stupid.
Trade Joe Burrows, and then it'd be good.
And also on the Browns front, the only one I'm really nervous about this year is the Ravens because they're always got a good team. But the Browns are going in, I heard, into OTAs with Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel is going to be the OTA starters. I know we haven't got a quarterback either, but we do in terms of Rudolph or maybe someone comes in. But that's a shit fire show over there.
I think Mason's better than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah,
that's I agree 100%.
But I'd say, this is what I'm looking forward to at the moment. Like, there's a lot of players, but I tell you what, I think once we watch Derek Harmon play football in the D line, I think he's going to be a character to get around to, especially with his story with his mother passing was really sad. But I think him playing football and being so connected to Cameron Hayward and see what they're passing the torch in the next 2 years, he's going to be a guy that's going to stand out on D lineman, I think. 99. 99.
His number.
There's going to be a lot of 99s in the stands.
Yeah. So he seems like a good dude so far. Just confident, ready to play. Likes the Mike Tomlin system. Likes hanging with Cameron Hayward. Builds a D line up. He's going to be a leader, like a rookie leader, and could be rookie of the year. You never know how he plays, right? So, or at least defense. But this team's exciting, and fuck Dan Orlovsky and all these other people saying I'm going 0-6 and all this kind of shit.
Who's on that board? Anybody that actually are relevant in any type of NFL knowledge? No.
Lewis Reddick. He was a. What was he do? Was he a general manager or something?
He was a fucking ball boy. I mean, the only one that's actually any good is the blonde girl. Other than that, they all suck.
Yeah, and I've seen other things like this too, where if it's with Rodgers, it's 10-7. Without 7-10, I think it's not that big of a jump. I think even without Rodgers, we can still be 11-win team.
She definitely looks like she gets the hole better than those guys.
And with Rodgers. With Mason, it's a 10-7 team. With Rodgers, it's a 12-5 team.
Oh,
Rodgers owns the NFC North, and it is what it is. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Ron, I got a red Sharpie and I got a black Sharpie. Come on, sign it.
This is so much drama, though. It's so much.
Sanford's right. He's right. The defense will be pissed off for last year. 100%. They should be. Dead set.
Yeah, I'm pissed off.
Yeah, you've been pissed off for months.
Mm-hmm.
Sean said, season's over, it's all over. All right, if you guys want to, in the chat, because we're going to run down the show in the next 10 minutes, put some questions in the show. We pretty much went over every single position. We didn't go special teams, so.
That's an A. That's the, we don't know who's returning kicks.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
What about the punter situation? Because the guy, my Aussie mate's coming back.
That's 2 A's right there. Either one is an A.
And then Waitman, he's a good punter. He did really well last year.
Trade him.
They're both
whoever you don't have as a starter, you use that as a trade because both of those punters are very, very good.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win for us because even last year with Waitman, he did some good punting. There was some nice averages, and then him getting down the field and no let-ups as well. Like, Christian 46 is out there snapping the ball. Chris Boswell is a legend. This team looks good.
Just don't know who's returning punts and kicks.
Well, Calvin Austin will be to returning punts. Looks like unless he has a bigger role as a receiver, then maybe not. Because why would you want to see him get hit up and then go for another, run? But we'll see. I don't know who else could do that. I think there was another bloke. Wasn't the other bloke that safety? Sebastian Castro, wasn't he a returner as well? Or Dante Kent? Yeah, he was a returner.
I think they just throw everybody back there.
Hey? But yeah, any questions, put them in the chat. There's then we'll keep moving forward. Kevin Reed says, how many sacks do you think Sawyer will have? Oh, you know what? Let's go. I'll go 6 for the rookie. That's a lot. 4.
Yeah, I'd do over and under. I'd say under 6.
So, but if he gets 6 and then we're getting TJ having like 13, 17 or whatever, he's going to be fun to watch. Because what a Herbig got in his rookie year got about 4 or 5, didn't he?
Well, they need to get sacks like they used to, like when they used to have 55 and lead the league in sacks. They haven't led the league in sacks, I think, in the last couple of years.
There was a certain period where the Steelers were like on a 65 four or five years in a row. They lead them all the time. You know, they kept going. I forgot the stat, but they were getting 70+ sacks all the time. Steeler Chick 46 says, how many interceptions will Minka have? I'm hopefully 5, 6, hopefully.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Shane, how many interceptions for Minka?
I mean, last year, I don't think he had any last year. Did he?
Let me check. He had one.
One. Okay.
One.
I hope it's more than one, guys, because, well, you got to think Beanie had a couple. It just.
But they're not throwing to Minka either. They're not going to throw on Minka, so that's hard.
He's not in a spot like. Sometimes, players have a nose for the ball, and Mika's one of those guys who used to have a nose for the ball. Beanie, I said this before he, became a Steeler. He had a nose for the ball. I didn't know if his physicality would translate. I don't know if Taylor's physicality as a bum rusher. I mean, that's what he does. He bum rushes. He has one move. Will he get sacks that way? I don't know. It's hard to say. But the one thing I will say is we will know this year if Mika is on getting ready to retire or not, because I think he needs to have a better year than last year. He wasn't horrible, but he just didn't have that standout year, that splash year. So.
How old is Minka? Is he 30? What is he, 30?
Let me look it up.
No. He's not that
1996. What's that? 31?
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. 31, I think. Yeah, getting up there.
Still has a couple.
And he's been playing with us for a long time. Like, since 20. That's correct. 29. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years with the Steelers. I can't believe that. Wow. It's amazing. He's you know what I mean? Like, he was a Dolphin. Now that's crazy. He's a Steeler.
They snagged him. I thought he had more. I thought he had more years in the league, but I was wrong.
Yeah, he had his big year. Was
a lot of peeps in the chat. Hey guys, thanks.
There's tons here. I think you'll say, yeah, will Kenny start? Yeah, I think he'll start. Yeah, Kenny will start games for the Browns. I reckon they'll go. Here's my theory. I think they'll go Kenny Pickett week 1, then Joe Flacco will be back up. And if it all fucks up, they'll go Joe Flacco to end the season.
Yep. Sanders is holding the clipboard.
How many yards will Caleb get this season? Ooh, 1,200? I don't know. I'd say he runs.
At least he has to get 1,000 yards to take the loss of Najee Harris, who got 1,000 yards every year. So he's got to get 1,000 yards or more. 1,000 yards or bust.
Yeah, I say 1,200.
And
Minka is 28.
What?
So,
I'm so wrong. Sorry, Steelers fans. I don't know my ass from my elbow. Oh, what's that?
But I'm looking forward to it because Minka's been a Steeler now for 7 years. So, you know what? He gets some bad raps, but he is a great player. Great safety. He hits them hard too.
You know what, guys? I'm going to tell Bubba and Mark, I'm going to tell you this in chat. I don't give a shit. Everything we talked about, I could give a shit about this grades. I could care what happens. All I care about is I had a lot of fun doing the live streams and in the season talking Steelers shit. That's what I'm excited about. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about enjoying the product on the field. Last year, the product was not there the last four games. It was tough to watch. But when the Steelers are playing well and everything there's hope. And
when it was humming, it was humming.
Oh, we were 10-3. We thought, oh boy, something's on here.
Tomlin was the coach of the freaking year.
Fucking year he was, man.
I know.
3 weeks later, even Mark is kind of like, maybe we fire, mate.
I was 10-3. I'm thinking we're doing really well. I'm going over the Christmas soon. We can win the division. We're doing this, doing that.
Yep.
In fucking blows. Good boom.
I still haven't watched the Hard Knocks. I still haven't finished the Hard Knocks with the AFC North. I quit watching it after we fucking petered out.
Couldn't bring after the Eagles game, it gets worse. You can watch it every week.
Well, the Eagles actually broke the back of the Steelers defense anyway because we couldn't stop the drive to save our life, and we got the ball back once in the second half. That is just ridiculous, and that is not Steelers football. And we need to get back. And I keep saying this: we need to get back to Steelers football. And what is Steelers football? I mean, to me, it's smash mouth, doing stuff. But this off season, trying to sign people the last couple of years is not Steelers football. It's not the Steelers way. It just seems like it's a slap. Aaron Rodgers doing all this shit is a slap in the face of the Steelers organization. And like I said, I hope Beanie Bishop fucking goes in the locker room and fucking shoves that ball straight up his candy ass when he
Well, he's going to sign sooner or later because the OTAs are coming up.
Yep. And he's not going to be a part of it.
June 10th?
The OTAs.
Yeah, he's got to sign soon. It has to be within the next 3 weeks because otherwise he's going to miss the boat. So I'm done with it too.
The OTAs start May 27th through June 5th, Shane.
Yeah, if he's not fucking there for OTAs, it's what's going on. I'm over him, So Sean says, how many points of Wizard of Oz? I don't know, maybe like
165.
Yeah, something like 200 or something like that.
This season, both the podcasts should have a Boz counter, seeing how high he gets on the
165.
Oh, yeah.
It's
a good idea. Kevin Reed says, how many yards Roman? I'm just excited to see him play. But
I like to see him play a whole game.
500 yards, 450. I don't know. We have no idea at this point.
How about 25 yards? And then let's go with 25 yards because then he knows he can catch the ball. And then we can go from there.
We just don't know what to expect with him because we haven't seen him on the field. So that's interesting as well.
You know who's going to get 0 yards for the Steelers?
Who's that?
Pickens.
Get more yards?
He's going to get 0.
You think Pickens? Oh, I gotcha. I thought you meant like for the Steelers. I thought you meant like for the Dallas Cowboys. I might take him in my fantasy.
Cowboys might get few.
I think he's gonna light it up. But also too, the Dallas Cowboys suck. So
yeah. All right, fellas. That's pretty much our show today, and the show on the Steelers Dynasty podcast. You guys will be doing a show tomorrow, and what time you go tomorrow?
9 o'clock, and probably going to have to find some Steeler topics to talk about like we usually do. Because, I mean, and thank God.
Hey, we did it right today. That was off the cuff.
Yeah,
we had no idea what we're talking about today.
Nope, we did not. And that's why we're so good at what we do, I guess, because we can shoot from the hip. But we're 9 away from 400 in Steelers Dynasty podcast. So we're 109 to get to 500.
Hey, join us tomorrow. Like and subscribe. And if we get to 400 tomorrow, we're going to give away. I'm going to give away a T-shirt, 2 T-shirts to give away, a Fryermuth one, and
spin the wheel.
And what's the other T-shirt have on it? Oh, Mika. We were just talking about him. They have characters.
You're giving away a Minka jersey?
No, they're T-shirts that have the signature on them, and it has their face. Like. Back in the 90s, you have like the Michael Jordan ones where he's dunking and Larry Bird. Yeah. It's kind of like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you guys are doing really well. Near 400 and Steelers talk doesn't stop because he said OTAs are what next week, 28th or whatever of May.
Yeah, at least then
if there's no Rodgers.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You got to sign before that.
If he doesn't sign, he's the only quarterback that's not in OTAs in the NFL.
At some point, the Steelers have to drop it. They have to drop it.
This off-season drama in the last 2 years is so much. So much. Too much for me.
All right. Pepper says here, thanks for hanging out with HDU and Steelers Dynasty podcast. Like and subscribe to both if you haven't already. Y'all, hooly dooly. Thanks, fellas. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Steelers Dynasty podcast. Let's try and get to 400 tomorrow. I'll share it too.
Thank you.
See how we go, mate. And then you're 100 away.
God bless you.
God bless you, mate.
God bless you, mate.
You and your chicken burgers.
All my chicken burgers, and down and go to get my to-go, my takeout, and my akadaka, and all that stuff.
I might get it today. Actually, get some takeaway, some lunch.
I did. I got a hoagie, and I ate 2 slices of pizza and a hoagie, and I was supposed to go mow my grass, and I took a power nap. I feel such. The only thing I did today was this podcast, and I feel like I did something.
What are you feeling for lunch, Mark? Chicken burger?
Might be a chicken burger, yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's my 10 a.m., so I've got to get something. But
pancakes.
Big. You know what I don't mind? I don't mind chicken and waffles. I don't mind that. Yeah, Steeler goes, I'm done. I've been done with Rodgers yesterday. I think everyone's just done.
Come on. You know
everyone's done.
You're going to be like, hey, Ron! on the Ron wagon if he signed.
Hey, Ron, let's go. Nah,
and you know what? If he does sign, you know what? I would definitely get a football card with Aaron Rodgers as a Steeler. Even though I don't collect football cards anymore, I would.
This guy's my true quarterback.
Yeah,
forever.
Mine too.
Number 7.
I got a picture of him. I was kissing him in the cheek there.
I want to give a big shout out to Gordon as well. Gordon said, "Let's go. It's my first watch." So welcome to Steelers
Gordon.
Nation Australia. And welcome to also these fellas here, Bubba and Shane, do a podcast called Steelers Dynasty Podcast. So thank you to the YouTube algorithms for allowing us to come your way. So
and we're actually out of Western Pennsylvania. Me and Shane are from Western Pennsylvania, and we hooked up with a guy from Australia to talk about Steelers football. Unreal. I couldn't make this up even if I tried.
They might think you're Australian because we're on the Steeler Nation Australia site. You never know.
Well, I say this all the time, guys, but I thought Mark just had a speech impediment. He was a little bit.
If I have an Outback Jack hat, and some if I.
Oh yeah, 100%. You look like an Aussie heaps quick.
Oh, Aussie
with a goatee.
Oi, oi, oi!
If you had the hat on, you'd be like with a knife. You'd be sweet.
More Kentucky than you, Bubba.
Yeah, I know.
Holy dooly.
Oh god.
Alrighty. Thank you, Bubba. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, everyone coming in. Thank you to
Thanks,
Z
everybody.
and Felicia as well for the coin. Great show, even though we had nothing planned. I cannot stress how much we had nothing planned. We got to get this guy to
Ireland. That is the goal, people, is to get
I gotta figure it out.
Ireland so he can set it up. I'm here, me and Shane here at base camp. We could do some stuff. He could be in Ireland drinking pints, watching Steeler fans, hanging out, and we could do that, and we can show it to the masses, but we got to get him there. So get to your grandmother and take her lunch money to give it to Mark. So
I gotta figure it out, and hopefully next 3 weeks, to be honest, because they go on sale June 12th, I think it is. They go on sale. Tickets.
And I'm just telling the chat this, that if you don't know, Mark's not a petite guy, so you can't just put him in the post. You know, you just
no.
He's in the post. Up his legs up here.
I looked up. I had to look up, and I'm a big guy.
Yeah, when I walked in, you're like, shit. I was like, I'm not tall, what? You went, hey, Jesus, oh. Jesus. All right, that was so funny, man. Meeting you for the first. It was actually meeting Shane for the first time was probably the funniest one because I lost all my shit. All my luggage is gone.
So I'll tell the story again. I roll up to Pittsburgh Airport, and there's this guy. It's 15 degrees. He's in shorts like this, and he's a big dude, and he's like this big white dude, like with shorts on. Like, that's the Australian dude.
That's the guy. Hey, look, I'm wearing trackie. Oh, by the way, we call long pants. We call them trackies, Bubba.
Oh yeah.
Trackies.
Okay, what is it? Trackies?
Do you know what trackies? Yeah, you know what else we call them?
I know what a Trekkie is. Yeah, Trekkies is a Star Trek.
No. Trackies like track suit pants.
Okay.
Right? We call them trackies, tracksuit pants, right? Then we call them tracky dacks.
Tracky dacks.
Oh my god. Well, I call them that.
Dacks at Sam's Club.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't even know which ones I'm wearing. Something similar. I don't know. We call them tracky dacks. Like
I call them sweats or athletic pants.
That.
Well, I'm not.
Thank you, Afton.
So I'm not a track star, so that ain't happening.
Tracky dacks.
I can only imagine. Every show is just a historical lesson on Australian lingo.
Yeah, I'm like, where's my trackies? I'm like, what's that?
I would have no idea.
Pants. Yeah, Marcus, the 20. Yeah, I'm gonna plan. Oh, dude, I gotta figure it out. Next 3 or 4 weeks, because I want to stay over there for about 3 weeks, and I've got the hope. I don't know. I'm just gonna wing it, dude. I'm gonna try and buy tickets. Yeah, it's far.
3
It's
weeks.
far.
Oh, 3 weeks. You got to plan it. Okay, I thought.
Oh, no,
It's
I'm
not
gonna-
taking
I'm
up
gonna-
3 weeks. No,
I'm gonna like try and because I got a plan. I want to go to like other countries too. Maybe go to England or other countries where I'm there. My idea is to go for about 3.5 weeks, maybe 27 days, 26 days. Get time off work and then go to Ireland for like a week and then travel to England or something. Just do, I might not even. I'll try and do still as content, but honestly, it might just be a bit of a break too.
Yeah.
Because I'm just traveling. But
Just
so I'm gonna
take
be
your
over there.
towel and just do a video on every country you go to, waving your terrible towel, and then that's like, oh, the terrible towel went to all these countries.
Yeah, I'll be doing like some content every now and then on my phone and stuff. We'll figure it out, but it's getting there first because it's so fucking far away. It's a 27-hour flight. It's nuts. It's like you got to go to Dubai first for 16 hours, then you fly from Dubai to Dublin.
Take
That's
all
like
the Steelers
14
Super
hours.
Bowls and watch them on your flight.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever flown into Dubai. No, Qatar.
I flew to
What's
Orlando.
that?
That's just
What's the Shing zone? What's the Shing zone? I don't know what that is.
That's Australian for docking bay.
I have no
I don't
idea
know.
what that is.
I have no
Pepper,
idea
make
either.
it smart. Fill us in on that.
Yeah, I don't know what these. Yeah, but it's some exciting things happening because I'll be doing. I got to figure it out and cost wise, money wise, getting there. But I will make it happen. And yeah, tickets. If you want to go to Dublin, tickets go on sale on June 12th, which is I doubt I get one, but we'll see what happens. You've got to be in a waiting line too.
I'll just give all my blood, and I'll just leak out all my blood, and then that's how I'm going to get anywhere. Giving my blood and my bodily fluids to get me somewhere. But I'd rather watch it on TV. I mean, I'm too old. I can't hang anymore. It's terrible.
Yeah, you don't want to come to Dublin with me?
Oh, I would if I could, but we'd probably make international news. I'd be like,
I reckon you'd down some of those Guinnesses. You'd be down in Guinnesses.
No, I can't do that stuff. It's too.
Oh, that beer?
It's too rich.
Yeah.
I tried the darker stuff, and I can't do Guinness. I'm a pansy. If it's not Iron City or Icy Light, I'm a pansy. I could drink
I had
Captain
3
Morgan
shots
with.
at the airport. Fell asleep until I hit Bangor, Maine. When I was there, so
you've been to Dublin to Ireland?
Shannon, Ireland.
Okay.
It's where you stop when you're going into like Iraq and Afghanistan. It's kind of where you stop.
He's everywhere.
You have like a layover.
What do you call Shane? He's an international man of mystery or something.
He's
travel,
like James
travel
Bond.
correspondent.
I
Yeah.
had a
special
very
field correspondent.
exciting life before I came back to Western Pennsylvania, and I just literally I find myself talking to people when I'm washing the car. I'm like that commercial for not to be a dad, like where you're like, don't do that. That's me. So I'm just embarrassing my kids on the daily.
Love it. All right, fellas, let's get out of it. Thank you, Bubba. Thank you, Shane. Great show. We planned nothing, and we still had a great show with over 24 people, and also still.
This is like Seinfeld. This is the Steelers show about nothing.
Show about nothing. Love it. All right, let's play the video. We'll get out of here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on Steelers Dynasty Podcast. See you, Bubba. See you, Shane.
See ya.
I'll see you guys later.
Hey, Rod.
Left the light on. See you later. Bye.